I did think that the Miami Vice, along with the outfits, but the Ferraris, the cigars, it was the full, more than just the outfit. It was the entrance that really made it money, which I mean, to no surprise.
All right, Happy New Year. Welcome to Never Offside. It is our 1-year anniversary today listening. We started January 6, 2025, and now here we are, January 6, 2026. So happy 1 year, Jules.
Yeah. Cheers. It's
Cheers.
Amazing. I can believe it, but wow, we've done a lot of talking.
Yeah, we have.
365.
Anytime I look at, I'm trying to find one of our YouTubes, I scroll and I'm like, wow, we did all these episodes?
How many hours is that?
I don't know.
Not to mention our prep calls, our post-mortem calls.
Yeah, we talk a lot.
It's been a blast and it's such an honor. I mean, we ended 2025 with a bang, with Janet Gretzky and her plus one, Wayne, who decided to sit in on our last episode, if you missed that. And now we're kicking off a new year, and we kind of wanted to go a different route and start off the new year with a different insider, like a different insight of hockey, our West Coast gal, Anio, kind of getting, a different take, I guess you will, and chat about the ins and outs of fashion and hockey, and a lighter episode, if you will.
It's more so just our opinions on
things.
The fun things that are happening in the NHL, I guess. So.
Yeah, so it's just fun to start. It feels like it's a new season almost for us because it's a new year, and we kind of break it into two parts.
I agree.
So it's fun to kick it off.
You know what's funny? Did we explain last episode what happened with the Janet and Wayne sit-in?
No, because the episode was so long, and we had to we were so caught off guard.
So what happened that got cut out? It actually got cut out because the Wi-Fi was kind of cutting and stuff. Is basically a family member set up Janet's screen, and then she was running a little bit late. So Julie and I were just sitting there waiting, looking at our notes, whatever. And then Wayne sat down and popped in, and he was just like,
"I'll sit here.
You ask, what questions do you have for me?" Yeah.
We were like, "Well,
how is Christmas?"
Yeah. Wayne Gretzky sits down, and we were like, "How was your Christmas?
What'd you get Janet? What'd you do? What'd she cook?" We panicked, and it was.
What else would we have asked?
I don't know. We panicked. We had no other questions. We had no backup just in case Wayne sits down before Janet. What should we do?
It was amazing. It was perfect. It was, I called him Mr. Gretzky when he sat down because I was like, I can't call you Wayne now.
It was just funny. And again, it got cut out, which we find out the edit after the fact, right? So it was spotty. The internet was spotty and stuff.
But it was great. And it was
Nuss moment. It's for us.
It was for us. And then the whole episode, we thought that was it. That was our time. That was our moment with him.
All we got was asking him about Christmas.
Yeah. And he talked a little bit about the Winter Classic that was coming up. But we thought that was it. We're okay, bye. Oh my God. And then regroup because Janet's there. And where do we start again? And he was in the whole episode. He was literally in the background, chiming in, kind of David Beckhaming the whole thing. Are you telling the whole story, Janet? Are you actually? No,
yeah,
they asked you this.
That. You should talk more about that movie you were in.
Yeah. It's tell him what you were doing in Hollywood. Tell him. I'm like, yes, tell us.
We love a supportive husband. So.
It was amazing. They're endearing, just the endearment, between them was so fun to see. And we got it firsthand. And their whole family was bopping in and out. We met all their sons. It was really a family affair. It was hysterical.
We lived in their house for 2 hours, basically. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, but wait, speaking of the last week, outdoor game.
Outdoor game.
Are you rested? Like what?
No, it's like that took it all. It was crazy. It was so fun. NHL did an amazing job, doing a winter classic in South Florida. Really just something else. And the weather was perfect. I know there's a lot of criticism on like winter classics. They should be in winter environments, but like, why not? Why not like, kind of push it to the limits and see if you could do something like this here. And I think it went swimmingly.
Okay, so I saw all the beach chairs set up and everything.
Oh my gosh.
You know how sometimes they have like people like kind of interacting?
Yeah.
What did they have going on? I didn't
They
see
had
that.
people. They had like actors there. And I was like, I would do that. I mean, did you see Biz jumped in? He like hopped off the TNT set to go dance with like the actors. It actually was like very like, it felt like La La Land, like the movie, and they were like doing like choreographed like. But yeah, I would have gone and sat on one of those beach chairs out left field.
I didn't see too much of that coverage, so I wanted to know because when we were at MetLife, there were people like walking their dogs and stuff.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, they had and I was on that side of the stadium. On the other side, I think it was snowy, like the New York side where like the New York I know the family sat on that side, but I didn't get a visual on that side either. So did they have like wintry things going on? I actually don't know. I'd have to go back and look. But on our side, it was beach. They had a belly flop competition into a baby pool at one point. It was like they did it. Everything they did, they covered it at this winter classic in South Florida.
I need like the NHL to do like a recap of that. Like the belly flop competition and stuff.
Yeah, because that was probably just for like the in-game entertainment because it was on like the Jumbotron. It's not on, national television. They're not putting a belly flop competition.
But I want to see it.
But yeah, it was great. It was like I could actually see the game like really well from our seats. So that was good. Jeff said the ice was good. It was awesome. But everything like from the family's perspective, like everything leading up to the game is the most fun.
Yeah,
it's like we went on. We had buses from our practice rink here taking all the families down to Miami, like kids, everybody, and we went to a lunch. We had like a kickoff lunch down there, and then it was New Year's, so we all went by the pool. And we're by the pool, and then it was New Year's, so we had a big New Year's party together with all of the family and like guests that you had in town at the hotel. And then the family skates the next day, and I think the family skate is the best part of it all. It just because like the game day is a game day, and everything goes by so fast, and logistically you're just like make sure I don't miss a bus, and if you're in tow with kids, you're kind of dealing with them.
Exactly.
So the family skate is just kind of like the slower moment where you can like really take it all in before it gets too crazy. Mm-hmm. And the game was great. It was beautiful. I know it sounds silly, but like it was like the coldest week in Florida, so couldn't be more perfect for.
When did they open the
as they were walking out? So it was like open the windows, open the roof. Yeah, it was great. The one thing that I missed, I was like, I wish there was a flyover. There wasn't a flyover, but maybe at night it didn't make sense because
interesting.
You couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But there was like a blimp. You could see like the little dots of the blimp going over. But I was like, I just love a flyover so much.
The blimp is like kind of Miami though. Like, they always have like this.
So, but Jeff and them were standing there for the national anthem, and apparently the moon was really cool. It was like just before a full moon. And he said they were kind of all like elbowing each other, like look over your shoulder. There's like a full moon like right behind them, like through the windows. It was really pretty.
Oh,
we couldn't see it from our
shots
seats.
of that. Like some NHL photographer could have.
There has to be from like home plate out, but the guys were like kind of like that kind of gave them like, wow, it's like really neat setup right now. So
that's cool.
Overall, super success. I mean, the outcome of the game was not a success, but for the Panthers, for New York, of course, it was a big win.
Well, I want to know speaking of the Rangers winning, the necklace that was given to
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. I want to know more about it.
I know. We need to have a New York wife on here soon to kind of get their recap, because again, they were traveling the whole thing, but they were coming obviously from
far.
New York.
Yeah.
It would be a totally different mindset coming in, and we do need to know what the necklace was.
Yeah, I want to know more about
like
the
MVP.
necklace.
Was it like an MVP necklace of the game?
It was, but it was like blinged out and it was huge. And I want to know more.
Amazing.
Like, yeah, I want to know more.
Yeah.
Did you meet Jackie in person?
I did not.
No.
But again, that's just how those weekends go. It's like, you're kind of herded in and out of don't miss the bus is ultimately like.
Yeah, originally I was going to come out and join Julia and maybe film some stuff for the pod, but then we kind of realized that it's just hectic.
Honestly, yeah. And during it, I was like, what were we thinking? Like, until I'm not like partaking in one of these, like there's no way I can be doing
time.
Work and like trying to like savor the moment with my family.
Let alone with your 4 boys.
Yeah. Oh God. That was a whole nother story that was like kind of rocked the whole weekend. Like one of them was sick, had to leave the game. Like,
God.
Anyways, it was always something. But
always something.
Yeah, so it was great, but we'll discuss more with Miss Annie O after this. We're going to talk all things Winter Classic, walk-in fits, not only for that game, but kind of all over the league, and other things like that. So that'll be up next with Annie O'Donnell. All right, welcome back to Never Offside. Happy New Year. Today we are joined with hockey content creator extraordinaire Annie O'Donnell. If you don't know her, you should. You should be following her because all of her content is so fun, so creative. So we are so excited to be joined with her today and kind of have a different episode with her and chat about hot topics across the league and maybe have her ask us some questions. So welcome to Never Offside, Annie.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that introduction. I'm speechless right now, but thank you. I'm so stoked to be here with you, Jules, and so excited to meet you, Kat.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Another California girl. It was so nice to be able to email you on my time last night, and because Julie's in bed by the time my brain starts working sometimes, so it was nice to have another California girlie on the show.
I want to know. I kind of like didn't dig into like the research, we always research and do the dive because I want to just like get to know you even more. I feel like I know you. That's what social media does to us. Like we're all connected in this crazy world. We're across, the country from each other, but you're a sports girly clearly. And Kat and I are too, like from baseball to football to everything. How did you get in like kind of your upbringing? How'd you get into hockey specifically?
Let's go. We're going to go way back. I grew up in a huge hockey family. My dad's originally from the East Coast. Grew up a huge Montreal Canadiens fan. He's from Long Island, but he grew up before when there was only 6 teams in the NHL. And he and my mom ended up moving out to San Diego and had me and my brothers and put us all on skates as soon as we could walk. And back in the 90s, hockey just barely after Gretzky got to the area, hockey was still very much a growing sport. So we kind of felt a little, not outsiders, that's not the right word, but it was before Stanley Cup championships had come to California. So being into hockey was kind of out of the norm still. So being in the hockey community and playing locally, I didn't play as much as a kid. That was all my brothers. I was just the rink rat going to every rink in Southern California and spending holidays and every weekend and after school doing my homework in the rink, but just always loved the sport. Knew I wanted to be around it in some way, and then studied sports marketing in school, did internships with both the Penguins and the Kings, decided that working for an organization wasn't really what I wanted to do, but knew I always loved specifically hockey, knew I wanted to work in hockey in some capacity, and then just started putting content and having fun with videos on the internet, and here we are.
We have a bunch of topics we want to cover, but going right into the Winter Classic, I want to recap that with you, but going in with the walkout outfits for the Winter Classic. And for the people that are listening that are kind of new to this, on Winter Classic outdoor games, there's always been a tradition for the players to kind of dress up as a theme around wherever the game was and who's playing in it. And Annie had she was doing predictions for the Winter Classic here in Miami. And I mean, I think I put the little eyeball things because I knew
You did.
knew what our team was going, what the Panthers were going as, and you were pretty spot on of what they were going to do, which was kind of obvious, at the end of the day. But you nailed it, and then you gave so many good ideas for New York, and they did not do it. And I was they should have consulted with you.
If you didn't watch the video, I thought they would go with a Frank Sinatra kind of moment, just because with their Broadway hat that they do for the MVP of a win. I thought that would have been so cool. But he has a movie filmed in Miami called Tony Rome, where he wears kind of has the full white Miami look, and they kind of did that, but not really. But I was more upset, honestly, at last year's Winter Classic because it was in Chicago, and I don't think there's a city that has more pop culture references to hit on, which I feel is a really fun part of the outdoor game tradition. Like, you think about the Stadium Series at MetLife, which actually, Kat, I think you guys were involved in. Yeah, it was Jersey and the Flyers, where they did Rocky. The Flyers did Rocky, and the Devils did The Sopranos. That was so fun. Yeah. And even the wives got in on it with your coats and things. That to me is just such it makes the outdoor game that much more fun of an experience. So that's always a fun video I like to do a week up to it, thinking okay, what are some fun pop culture ideas and things that they could go into? Because the year before in Seattle, with the Kraken and the Golden Knights, I nailed both doing the fisherman, the Pike Place fisherman, and then the Vegas doing Elvis, which, you're kind of thinking about it, you're that's kind of obvious. But both places have a lot of
you can grab from a lot.
Exactly. But I did think that the Miami Vice, along with the outfits, but the Ferraris, the cigars, it was the full, more than just the outfit. It was the entrance that really made it money, which to no surprise. I kind of figured the Panthers would do Miami Vice just because it's, one, iconic, but two, easy to do. Just get a pastel shirt, white suit, but a scarf. Easy, a white suit and just the red shirt, the chains. Oh, it would have been so good. But hey, that's enough. Boston could steal Scarface for the Stadium Series.
There you go.
Especially with Pasta, he's always big on the arrival outfits. He gets into it. I feel with him if he's has any kind of say and lead into that, which, do you guys know anything about the process for how that's decided? Is it a team? Do the guys sit together and they're let's throw out some ideas? How does that go?
Exactly that. I still think it's different for every team depending on kind of leadership group. I think Matthew Tkachuk kind of took the bull by the horns because he's not playing right now. So he's oh, I'm going to really, dive in on this because he has a little bit more time too. But generally speaking, I think it's just on the text chain, hey, what do you think? And kind of more behind the scenes, or a casual dinner conversation. But it is funny to think that that's what they're talking about at some point during their dinners or bus rides,
With the MetLife one, didn't know we were new to the team, whatever. So I was giving them ideas too. But I'm pretty sure I think Jack Hughes came up with the Sopranos. You never know. I don't know.
Once the idea is there, then there's a lot of helping hands in executing it and just different levels. The trainers get involved and things like that of just gathering extra, whether it be supplies, cigars, sunglasses, you name it, all the accessories. There's runners for all of those things. Annie, your takes on fashion are so unique, and what goes into what you decide? Let's go into your fashion world. You're a sports girly, but you're also a fashion girly. You are making your own outfits to go to Ducks games. Where did that side of your world come from?
I've always been into fashion, but I feel I was a little late to figuring out my own personal style. I grew up, I went to private high school, so majority of my wardrobe was uniforms. So it wasn't until I got to college that I really was what do I like to wear? Like now I get to pick what I get to wear every day. So it was a lot of trial and error, but I also feel like I don't know, fashion is just one of my favorite ways to express yourself. And I feel like that's why I think I love just the fact there's no dress code this year, because it's such a great way to show people who you are, show your personality. Love the concept of a game day fit. I love just putting something together that just either, whether for however, how you feel, just shows who you are or is dressed for the occasion, whatever. No, but it's literally one of my favorite art forms, one of my favorite forms of self-expression. And that's why there's a lot of critique around kind of the no dress code. And I think one of the most common comments I get under my videos is, oh, bring back the suits. And which, granted, I'm looking at these pictures every day that social teams are putting out. I would say 80% of this league is still wearing suits. So let's put the torches down for that. Life is short. Wear what you want. And I think fashion's so broad that it's, life, like I said, life is short. Have fun with what you're wearing. Wear what you want. Ignore trends if you want to. But yeah, it's just, I have such a fun time with it. And when fashion and sports can collide is obviously when I have the most fun.
Well, speaking of the comment section, what is the majority of your fan base? Is it sports fans? Is it fashion girlies? Like, who do you converse with the most?
Well, sports fans for sure. Definitely not. But I feel like the fashion reviews that I've been doing have expanded into a bit more of the fashion space, which is really fun for me. Just as somebody I'm learning how to sew and learning how to make my own clothes. Because one thing about me is I do not want to show up somewhere looking like everybody else. I like the idea of standing out. I like having my own unique look when I go places. So that's why I love thrifting. I love vintage stuff. Something that you can't just walk into a store and buy that day. But it's fun to, that first video I've connected, excuse me. You say meet when you connect with someone on social media, which this is the first time, Jules, this is the first time you and I are talking, but I feel like I've met you before. Just exactly. we've been connected, but kind of connecting with some of the fashion designers and some of the stylists of some of the players, but the designers that had made some of the suits that the players are wearing. It's fun to meet them and connect with them and kind of see what the idea was and where they were going with it. But it's really, it's broadened kind of who the content is reaching, which is really fun. And you kind of see that too. Like there's posts from the league collaborating with GQ, like when's the last time that has happened? And it's just another way, like I harped on a way to show a player's show your personality, for a sport that has taken so much criticism for the way they can't market it and the way they can't market their players. I think this is such a genius way for players to show their personality and show a little bit more of who they are rather than having a mini mic shoved in their face and calling them by their full government name or asking who's the messiest on the road. Like, I think you think about it and you're like, it's not a marketing tool really, but it is. Like, yeah. I just think it's only good can come from this.
If Jeff ever comes across your scroll and walk in like an outfit, please put him in a review. Be authentic.
Brutally authentic.
He's always
you got yourself a deal.
But I just because it's few and far between. So I'm like, please show Jeff. And he always looks really handsome and he dresses up, but he's always going to play it safe. He's never going to be, he always has a nice pair of boots on.
It's funny because I feel like there's two approaches to the game day fit, and it's summed up by a clip from New Heights between Travis and Jason Kelce, where Travis is all in on the game day fits and Jason's like, what the heck would I need a game day fit for? And he shows up in his jeans and his flip flops and he's like, I'm coming there to play football and then leave. And so there's two schools of thought. One's not necessarily wrong, but I feel like a lot of people ask why don't you use my team? Why don't you use my favorite players? I'm using what the social media managers are giving me. I'm not boots on the ground taking pictures in every city. I can go on Getty Images and try and look, but which I have a couple times if I don't like the angle of an outfit, and I need to see like sometimes they'll do like, and I get it, social media managers, they want to create aesthetic feeds and cool videos, but like it's not good. I can't review a black and white picture. Like,
like I need to see the shoes. Since you're doing this religiously, like who is consistently on your yes list and who is consistently do better?
Mikhail Sergachev is a star. I absolutely love his style, and I've conversed with his stylist too a little bit, and she loves the videos. I mean, I would too if someone was praising my work too that much. But I love it. One, it's unconventional. It doesn't look like what anybody else is doing, but he's just having so much fun with color, with texture, with layering. But also, he's also reusing a lot of pieces. So kind of the mindset you get into, I feel a lot as people is, oh, new event, I need a new outfit. Oh, I need a new outfit for this, which granted, it's still something I need to work on. But I just love that has just this wardrobe where one, he is reusing outfits. He has reworn outfits before, but two, he's re-wearing pieces and recreating things around it. And that means that he's got a sustainable wardrobe, which we applaud and appreciate. Pasta always has fun with his outfits. He started off a little like he kind of started off a little like was wearing a suit. I'm like, okay, come on, buddy, where are we? And then he kind of warmed up a bit and broke out. William Nylander, always, always has something. A few sleepers that I was not expecting to be good were both Clayton Keller and Tage Thompson. I think they both have really interesting personal style, like kind of a mix of casual with a little elevation there. So it's fun to see the outfits they put together. Consistently on my do better list, there's a couple. Nate Schmidt is one of them. And he's kind of goofy, so I get that it's part of his personality there. Ian Cole is another one.
Do you get any like funny comments from wives and stuff?
The only comment that I got from, because sometimes I see them like the video, especially if their husband's talked up about it, if I'm complimenting their husband. Erin Forsberg, Philip Forsberg's wife, week one, because Philip had little Felix and they had the matching Goyard little sweatsuits for the walk-in, which I thought was adorable. Like, I'm not going to rag on an outfit when there's a child in it, first of all, but I did think the sweatsuits were just such a great fit, and like he's adorable, and I love how open they are with that relationship. And I get it. As professional athletes, I would completely understand like the privacy and family that you would want, but I think it's really nice of any family in the hockey world to share their family life a little bit. And that's why, Jules, you're such a great follow, because I love seeing your life with your boys. It's just so adorable. And it reminds me of growing up with 4 brothers. So just want to say thank you for that. But yeah, it is fun. And, she appreciates, she all said, thank you for the kind words and can't wait to see like some of the outfits. But I haven't gotten too much insight from the wives' side, which is why it's fun conversing with you guys here and kind of hearing like, oh, they just walk out. Like there's no thought here.
We always do superlative. This time we thought, instead of, going a little too hard on individuals, we'll go full teams with that.
The easiest team to root for that is not the Ducks.
Montreal, I would say. It's my dad being a huge fan himself. They've always been kind of a second team and always fun for us to root for. And they've got such a fun, young, exciting team right now. So I always have a soft spot for them. I actually went to the Bell Center for the first time last year, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
It was like the playoff atmosphere for a regular season game. It was so much fun. But yeah, they're just actually, come to think about it. One thing I did not know about the Bell Center in general was, I guess the hot dogs are a big deal. And those are so good. So, Kat, my question to you, and this might be a hard one, is Dodger dog or the Bell Center dog?
Ooh, that's tough. Honestly, because of my Dodgers are like my family, I think Dodger dog, because kind of like my in and out Dodger dog, but it's just like a a nostalgic thing, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. Overall funniest team vibes that you get.
Funniest.
Yeah.
I think San Jose. I think they have a lot of fun on social media. They're just, and as somebody that, you know, you have the California, obviously the rivalry between the California teams, which it's just my bias as a Californian myself, but I believe the NHL is more fun when all three California teams are good. So I think we're getting close to where that California road trip is going to get hard again for teams, and I'm very excited about it. But their social media is so fun, and I love them capitalizing and marketing on the young players on that team and just having fun on social media because I feel like social media is such a tool that a lot of teams don't use and capitalize that as they should. But I feel like San Jose is really doing a great job with it.
Well, it's also what you see is what you get here. Like they are even crazier off camera. Like it's like things that I see. Like,
you guys show what the fun Halloween costumes, like the team dinners that you guys have, and it's fun like for fans to see that, you know, their favorite players, their favorite teams, they're loving coming to the rink. They love being around each other. It just makes it's more fun to root for a team that's having fun. Along with, I mean, the winning part's fun, but you know, if they're having fun and they enjoy each other, then the fans feel that. So
very much. The one team that keeps going viral and why?
The Kings. The Kings have been doing a lot with not only just with social media, but just with their in-game stuff. I mean, Will Ferrell has to be the absolute most perfect ambassador for that team, for the sport of hockey as possible. You love that he's so bought in on, you know, doing the bits and filming promos for them. You could say the same for Isaiah Mustafa, who does a lot for the team as well. But I just think their social team is just on it and is just so creative. And that goes back to, 2012, I can think of back when social media was like, teams were starting to show personality on social media. And the Kings were really at the forefront of that and really were the first team to kind of be snarky and bite back at some of the fans with little sassy, sarcastic comments. And you see that, you know, that same kind of attitude where I remember Luc Robitaille telling us as interns in a meeting, he says, you know, our thing with social media is don't cross the line, but toe the line. You know, dance on it if you want to. So it's cool to see that they still are taking such advantage and really being creative with their social content. I mean, just recently, obviously with Corey Perry being an LA King, which is classic. Of course, he goes to just being a fan of his, just for him being a Duck for the longest time. It feels like every place he goes, people kind of groan because they think, oh God, not this guy. But then they fall in love with him. It's inevitable. He is fun to root for. He's done it everywhere he's been. And like just recently in Edmonton. And then he comes to LA and they're groaning over this. But they had that Sorry Corey microphone set up in the hallways of Crypto.com Arena. And you got the fans on there because he's playing so well for them right now. And you got fans there saying, we're sorry, Corey. You've been really great for us. I tip my hat to the Kings social team for that for sure.
Okay, most dramatic fan base.
You guys are trying to get me in trouble for this. It could be anybody. It depends on the time of year. I feel like Toronto's an easy layup to say to that, but I feel like at this point, they're not really dramatic. They know to expect it. They kind of know to expect disappointment year in and year out, and they're used to it. God, dramatic. I tend to find Pittsburgh can be a little dramatic at times. And that's I went to school in Pittsburgh, so I lived there for 4 years. But I think just now with kind of the state of where the franchise is, and, you know, I think you're getting to the point where it's like, okay, are we trying to be competitive? Well, you know, with the last years of Crosby, Malkin, and Letang, like, what do we do at the deadline? Is Kyle Dubas doing the right thing? The Carlson, like, you just see narrative after narrative and it never ends. Or even like the turmoil around a lot of people questioning is, you know, with a couple, Sid I think has maybe a year or two left on his current contract, but the constant narrative of, is he going to go try and play somewhere else? And meanwhile, he's always said, no, like I want to retire a Penguin. You hear it from the man's mouth himself, but constant discourse from Colorado, from Canada, places of being like, oh, let's try and get Sid at the deadline. Sid wants out. Sid wants to play here. And it's just like the man himself can say that he doesn't want to leave Pittsburgh, but people will still run with the narrative. So I think it can be a different fan base. It just depends on the time of year. It depends on what's
They're
going
going
on.
through a lot. The Penguins fans are going through a lot.
They are.
Think if that kind of noise was running through your household, you might be freaking out too.
Totally.
Chicas overall collective jersey for one team right now. Like, who has the best overall jerseys?
See, when you bring up the word chic, it's going to be different because I feel like the constant, like, especially in the hockey world, everyone kind of thinks like there's one right answer to things. And for the longest time, people say the Chicago Blackhawks have the best jersey, best logo in hockey, which to me, I just don't think, you can't, that's personal opinion, first of all, thinking that like there can't be a one size fits all answer. But when you say the word chic, I'm like, okay, we're throwing in, that's a different approach to look at a jersey. For that, I'm looking at colors, I'm looking at stripes, I'm looking at angles on the sleeves, things like that. I love those Washington Screaming Eagle jerseys. I love them. And I think I don't love their current home, just standard Capitals jersey. I hope they consider a rebrand, but you go back to their early days of like the Mike Gardner with the stars on top and the red. I love those. They reprised that for, I want to say the 2011 Winter Classic, which I loved. I put the Capitals up there. I love Buffalo's jerseys. I think the blue and yellow is really cool, but my favorite retro jersey are the red and black goat head jerseys that Buffalo has. So I'm going to throw them. I think that logo itself, it's both intimidating and gorgeous, which I think perfectly sums up chic. So that's going to be my answer.
Totally different ones that are not in my wheelhouse. I'm more of like I love a traditional, like old school. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but those ones I know exactly what you're talking about, and they are sharp.
The Nordiques one, the
Colorado.
Yeah. That blue is stunning. I think they did such a good job with that. And I know there's so much discourse around why are you you relocated? Why are you honoring? It's honoring the roots. It's honoring the tradition and the history of the franchise. Now, I don't think that the Utah Mammoth should be doing anything with the Kachina in Arizona anytime soon. I know that's still a little fresh, but I do love because they just did the Whalers versus the Nordiques game as well. And another jersey I do love this year, I think is stunning, is that Detroit Red Wings Centennial jersey with the chain stitches on the logo and the old brown, the gloves and the pants. I think that's just beautiful. Which is funny because the last few, the Detroit's reverse retro jerseys didn't move me at all. I thought they were kind of bland. So I like that they put, maybe they were saving the creative juices for the centennial year, which I understand if they did. But they've consistently had like some of their Winter Classic and outdoor game jerseys have been some of my favorites. So I love that jersey, and I love when they wear it on home ice.
Best dressed team all around.
Utah's been really good with Sergachev, Samashev, Clayton Keller. Logan Cooley's also been a surprisingly good one. Calgary's a sleeper. I looked through some of their pictures. They've got some sharp dressers. Blake Coleman is vastly underrated for his style. He always looks good. Montreal is another one where, you can kind of think about, some people think fashion and style. You're thinking like designer logos here and there, like who's showing off that much. But Montreal, they always look sharp. And it's not always just the suit and tie, like the coats they wear, the kind of the sets. It's always well tailored. Mm-hmm. And so they're up there for me. Toronto's got some heavy hitters on that team too. I think overall though, I got to go Utah. I think they've consistently had just some great outfits.
One last fan question, because this one really resonated with me because it's something that we could all kind of like answer to. It's just, how do you put up with any haters, specifically male haters, being in the hockey world and creators? Because something we've done with this podcast is, you you can see the comment section, and Julie and I have tough skin when it comes to, sometimes we'll have a clip where people are like, what are these girls talking about? So it's that kind of thing. Like, how do you deal with that noise, I guess?
I think just as you make content, you have to understand that it's not going to be for everybody, and not everybody's going to like you, and that's okay because you're not made for everybody. But that's a big part of it is, you got to be comfortable with the fact that not everybody's going to like you. And especially because I get the majority of hate that I get, I would say, one, I mean, sometimes my opinions, there's always going to be somebody that says you have no idea what you're talking about. You can have all the stats, you can have all the research, you can back it up as much as you can, but there's always going to be somebody saying you're wrong. Like somebody just with a narrow minded of thinking that just doesn't see that and just views differently. And you got to say, okay, that's fine. Like, you stand on what you said, as long as like, who you are, as long as you stand on the things that you say, like that really doesn't matter. And a lot of the times, the other part is my outfits sometimes get some hate from people. But one thing I've noticed is anytime, like, first of all, somebody that takes the time to write something mean on content of people they don't know, like I've never been in a place where I felt the need to do that. And you also always feel sorry for them because you're like, if I don't like something, I keep scrolling or I keep it to myself. Like I don't voice my opinion to be mean and to try and bring somebody down. That doesn't make my life better. So I feel sorry for people that feel the need to do that, first of all. But especially with like outfits and stuff and the things I wear to games, like majority of the time I will go to their page, I'll go see them. We do not have the same style by any means.
Yeah.
Like I would not wear what they wear either. And it's one of those things where you're just like, listen, different strokes.
Agreed.
All right?
Disagree.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, haters are going to be there. And I think it was Eminem that said, if you got haters, you're doing something right. So that's the vibe. You got to go with it.
That's a great motto. We were told that too. Whenever we get any, like comments, we just laugh it off. I guess.
All engagement is good. It's good engagement. They're helping push the video further into the algorithm. It's fine. So, which means they're going to get more content. And if they engage with it, you're going to pop up on their feed again. So really, it's an L for them.
Wise words as we continue to create content into 2026, both of us. I think it's just fun to connect like this. And like you said, it's like, we're just here to have a good time, to put fun spins on things and let people into different sides of the world. You're giving a creative spin that I don't think anybody else is doing. And it's wonderful. And if you don't like it, keep going. There's more internet to scroll. So that's what's that. But where can everybody find you, Annie, and follow along? And what do you have planned next?
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and on Twitter. X, excuse me, at Sweet Annie OD. I'm posting pretty much every day, whether it's hockey, fashion, daily life, hot takes going around the league. And 2026 is going to be, it's still doing weekly reviews. So if you have not seen my videos, I do every Tuesday we do a weekly roundup of rapid fire fits, which that's where you can find the reviews we talked about today. And it's the rest of the year is just going to be making content and enjoying this beautiful game. So I'm excited. We're keeping very open to 2026.
All right. She's so much fun. I love her energy. She knows so much.
Yeah.
Like some of her answers, to be quite honest, I was like, because, I don't actually know what that jersey is or, so because she's just so well versed in everything.
Yeah, she's seeing it all. And that's like, she's kind of like my insight to around the league now, because she's posting things that I would never see because I don't go looking for them or I don't follow, that team per se.
If the team's not in your algorithm, like even like when we were in Montreal and it was the Canadian League, right? I feel like the only thing I saw on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, was just Canadian teams. I saw nothing about, it's just like how it works with your algorithm. So she's covering all the algorithms, which is very impressive. So when we polled for Annie questions, we also polled for New Year's new topics for us. Obviously, pop culture, a lot of people asked about why we haven't discussed heated rivalry yet. And it's because if you are a fan of this podcast, you'll know that Julie is always very behind on watching shows. So we can't discuss it because she hasn't watched it. I've watched it, but
I haven't even finished Gossip Girl.
Yeah, she's way
it's-
behind.
Sorry. Check back in 4 years if we're still on air.
Well, they just signed on for like 3 more seasons, so I'll just.
So I'll be yeah. Okay, there we go.
You'll be commenting on the first season in 4 years.
We're tracking for a year.
Yes,
4
but
years from now.
obviously, you know me. I watch everything. I watched it. I loved it. I am very curious what's next. So that's all I'll say without spoiling. Spoiler alerts.
Spoiler.
So you never know if you're spoiling something.
Sorry
Actually,
to disappoint.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
have time to watch TV.
Yeah, she has no time. She's got 4 boys, and I don't know if they're going to edit it, but they keep jumping in right now. So we're going to wrap this up. The other question we got a lot of is just Michael living with me and how that's working with Hockey Canada Junior.
World Juniors.
World Juniors. So he's been gone, but I had to go into the ADU to just clean up a little bit. Yeah, just clean up a little bit for because it's Father's Trip this week. So he's gonna so Rob Toffoli is gonna sub in to Michael's living. But something I noticed that is really funny, and I'm gonna warn him that I'm showing this, is he hasn't been the best at his laundry.
No.
So
Wait, you're showing
Yes.
laundry?
Yes. Well, it was on a chair, and it's clearly his, and I was like, "What is that?" And it's literally like clearly shrunk, and like you can't tell how small this is.
Kat, it looks like it could fit you, so
no, like,
it wouldn't even fit you, so that will tell you something.
It's so funny. I'm like, to be an 18-year-old doing your own laundry, I just
Oh my god,
shrunken.
That's so funny.
I know. So yeah, maybe teach the boys how to do laundry early.
I'm gonna go right now and start that.
Yes, but anyway, we're rooting for him. I think they're in the bronze medal game tonight. Also, congratulations to Macklin for making the Olympic team. We got so emotional here, honestly.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, Ty called him, and it was just,
that's so cool.
Well, you can't be when it's somebody like him. He is just so humble, and when I said congrats, he's like thanks. Like he just is so sweet and deserving, and I can't wait. We might go. Let's go. Never Offside in Italy.
You might
cheering
go.
on
That's big time.
I said we might. You and me.
Oh, you and me. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I've made no plans yet for a break, but that's awesome.
Yeah. So congrats. But anyway, go off to your craziness.
I'm sweating now.
Yeah.
This was last day of winter break here. Kids go back to school tomorrow, so back to our regular scheduled programming. So sorry for the interruptions if they leave those in here.
I hope they do, because
that was fun.
Yep.
And thanks for listening to Never Offside. We are so excited for what's to come in this year, and keep writing into Kat on our socials, just letting them know guests or topics and things that you'd like us to cover, because that's what we're here for. And we just love every conversation that we get to have. And make sure to follow us on Never Offside Pod, and subscribe to the episodes on wherever you listen to our podcasts.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.